James Twin for the Untouchable True School Sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The Untouchable True School Sports Empire, and y'all know the rest. Listen, this is my official post-fight review for Kosei Tanaka versus Phumelele Cafu, and the result of the fight is an upset victory for the South African as Cafu upsets Tanaka by split decision to become the new WBA super flyweight champion and give Kosei Tanaka the second loss of his career. So let's talk about it. Now, I scored this fight. To me, this fight was very close. I thought Cafu just pulled it out. I gave each fighter 6 rounds apiece, but obviously in the 5th round, Cafu knocked down Tanaka with a right hand. So that wound up being the difference on my card. So I think the right guy got the nod. I've seen a lot of people saying Tanaka won the fight. Listen, I'm a big Kosei Tanaka fan. I went to Japan and interviewed the guy myself. I love the people on his team like Keita Kamiya. You know, great people. Love Tanaka. You know, one of my favorite fighters in boxing. But Tanaka did not win this fight, and I think the right guy got the nod. So, as far as how the fight played out, Tanaka was really, you know, he is Tanaka. You know, Tanaka always, he's a fighter that tends to rely on more his speed, his athleticism. He darts in, he darts out. Sometimes because of the way he fights, he doesn't really put the most on his punches. It's more so reliant upon speed. And the thing is, like, once a fighter sees this for 4 or 5 rounds, a smart fighter, 3-4 rounds, you know, you can kind of pick up on how he fights. And I thought Cafu did a great job of picking up on how he fought. And you know, he was countering him. I think the best thing Cafu did in this fight was anytime Tanaka would commit to a shot and land anything, you know, of significance on him, Cafu was always trying to respond and punch back. You know, you always want to behave like a champion in those nervy championship moments, and I thought he did a great job of that in this fight. He had longer arms than Tanaka, so I think there were many times in this fight where Tanaka would overcommit and reach and extend, and Cafu did a great job countering him. And sometimes Cafu didn't even need to counter. Sometimes Cafu would be leading the exchanges with the left hook, and he'd be landing. So I'll be honest with you guys. There was this one guy, I forgot his name, but there was a guy that commented on one of my Japan videos, and he basically said that Phumelele Cafu is gonna upset Kosei Tanaka. So whoever that is, if you see this video, congrats to you. You're right. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know a ton about Cafu because I don't. Cafu, from the little bit I do know, is he's a fighter from South Africa. He had a couple draws domestically in Africa, and he recently just hooked up with the biggest trainer and the most influential trainer in South Africa, Colin Nathan. You know, the same guy that also trains Sivanati Nochinga, right? So that's really all I know about him. I don't know a ton about him, so I guess I'm gonna have to learn a whole lot more about Cafu because he went in there today and he went toe to toe with Kosei Tanaka, one of the best fighters in this weight class, one of the better fighters to come out of Japan, and remember this Cafu, he's from South Africa. He didn't have no big step up fight. He didn't get the luxury of being brought up the right way. You know, he took a Mount Everest-esque step up in class. And you know what? A lot of times this happens in boxing. And few fighters under these moments can rise to the occasion, especially the fighters from South Africa, because I was reading, I learned recently that apparently of all South African fighters, 85% of South African fighters that fight outside the country lose, and even fewer than that ever become world champions. So this guy is one in a very, very minuscule few that will ever do this. It takes, you know, I made a lot of it on the channel many times. It is very hard to come from an African country in boxing and become a world champion because you have all the politics against you. You're not going to be brought up. You're not going to get the luxury of getting the right fights at the right time. Everything is against you. You will be screwed politically in the rankings. Like, this is how it is. So anytime an African fighter breaks through, whether you know them or don't know them, you got to always tip your cap to them because there's no in my estimation, and I watch a lot of boxing, there is no country that has it harder to become champion than Africa. And I think, or not country, but like their continent, but any of those countries, South Africa, Uganda, Congo, Nigeria, Kenya, any of those countries from Africa, you become a champion from one of those countries, you really earned it. So Cafu, add him to the list. We didn't have an African champion for a couple of days because Chinga was the only South African. He was the only African champion in boxing. So he lost to Ibuki. He got stopped. But then his boy Cafu comes back, and boom, just like that, we got African representation in boxing again. So shout out to Cafu. As far as Tanaka, ever since Tanaka lost to Ioka years ago, the big focus in his career has been to clean up his defense. And I think, it has slightly improved, but those defensive problems, those defensive lapses, they reared their ugly head in this fight. He had a guy that was patient enough to get him to overcommit to his shots and reach, and his defensive lapses cost him this fight. I think that knockdown played a big role in this fight. That knockdown is why I even think he lost this fight. So, Kosei Tanaka is a 4-division champion, 4-time 4-division champion. I'm not really sure where he goes from here. I'm not sure like who he fights next. I'm not sure what the next best option for him is. Maybe they could do a rematch with Cafu because the fight was close enough to where you could do a rematch. And it was a very good fight, but he still got some things to work on. He still got to clean up his defense. And my thing is like, he's pretty deep into his pro career now, so I'm not sure if he could ever become like a great defensive fighter. But he has the reflexes to be better than what he's showing defensively. So I think it's becoming the best fighter and the best version of yourself. It's an ongoing process. He needs to go through that process. He takes the second loss of his career, but yeah, he showed good sportsmanship. He made sure he congratulated Cafu and clapped the Japanese fans. So shout out to Tanaka for being a true warrior. But yeah, Cafu. Now he's in line for big fights. He's a 115-pound champion now. So all of a sudden, he went from being unknown. Now he can get he can fight Bam Rodriguez. He can fight Puma Martinez and make really good money. Make more money than he's ever made in his career. So that's how boxing is. One day, you don't even know who a fighter is, and the next day now they're fighting the stars of the division. So that's why in boxing, you always got to look at the guys in the rankings that you never heard of. You got to know who these guys are before they get the big fight. So that way, if they win, you're not like, oh, who is this guy? That's kind of how I operate. But yeah, shout out to Cafu. He is now Africa's only world champion, Africa's latest world champion, and he joins the pantheon of African fighters before him who have won the world title. So shout out to him. Shout out to Tanaka. I didn't think Tanaka fought a bad fight. I just think technically there's some things he needs to clean up still. And he fought a fighter tonight that had just enough to exploit what he was doing wrong in there. So yeah, Cafu was a 6-1 underdog. So anytime you win a world title as a 6-1 underdog, you did it the right way. You did it in a fashion where nobody expected you to win. So respect to him. And who do you guys want to see him fight next? Do you want to see him do the rematch? Do you want to see him versus Puma Martinez, or somebody else at 115? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dang. So until next time. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm at the Boxing Hall of Fame out here in Canterbury, New York. And for more great boxing content just like this video, make sure you click and subscribe right over here.